Salutations everybody, it is Matty here today, and welcome to the Elder Scrolls 6 Wishlist series, a series designed to help dictate the future of the Elder Scrolls franchise. Every Thursday, or at least I try, at 12 PM Eastern Standard Time, we sit down and look at your wishes. What Bethesda should take into the future, what they should learn from in the past, what inspiration they should take from around them, and so on. We cover all of that right here. This week, we're going to be touching on replay value. This is in thanks to a comment from MetalPunks Gaming. They say, "You've touched on this before, but not with a full video. Replay value. I want some hard choice. Choices where I'm sitting there for 20 minutes deciding. Quests that can totally change the outcome of the game or a quest line. Maybe there are two cities. If you help one, you're blocked off from that city and the quest it offers. Just a reason for me to want to play again." Another way to add replay value would be lock quests off until you reach a certain fame or trust. For example, say you're stealing a lot in this one town, eventually after stealing so much you get approached by a group of people who are planning on robbing a caravan. They want your help. Now say you didn't steal, the people from the caravan approach you with news that they hear about someone wanting to rob them. This time you help them. Now say you've never been to that town and on the way you see the robbery. You can choose to pick a side or just trot on by. You get my point. I just want that, but on a much larger scale. Now, here's the hard truth. There was a panel done in GDC 2014 in which the data presented showed that most people don't finish games. In fact, at that point in time, only 32% of people actually finish the game. And that personally kills me because I give my friends so much shit when they buy a game and don't finish it, even when they're like, "I love this game. It's so good." And I think to myself, bro, why don't you fucking beat it then? Getting slightly off track here though, that is the issue developers are presented with in replay value. They want you to play everything up front because they look at the data and they take a hard look and say, sure, we can put in all this effort, we can put in all that replay value, but how many people are really going to experience said replay value? Now, there is a great deal of us who are hardcore gamers, but one reality we do have to accept as hardcore gamers, and I'm not minimizing just people who play casually, is that there are a lot less of us in this sphere than it seems like. Not every single gamer is on YouTube, invested in the YouTube community, invested in the Twitter community, and so on, constantly interacting. There are much more people out there who watch their commercials and then decide whether or not they're picking up a game. And so when the developer sees, not that many people even finish games, and if they do, they're probably not starting up that second playthrough, then what's the point of adding the choice and consequence to games? That's why we see, often enough, an illusion, because it becomes a waste of money up front for the developers. Now, I think that there should be a developer out there who, such as Bethesda Game Studios, has a grip on both the casual, we'll say, gamer and the hardcore gamer, and make a game with true choice and consequence to rope in those casual gamers and make them enjoy games more with replay value and maybe change the scenery like they've done in the past. Now, it's quite obvious we want replay value, but there were some responses in the comments in last week's video that made a good point. They thought I was suggesting the artificial point of role-playing, which is just through quests, where that's the role-playing based off how you make your selection in quests is the role-playing. And truth be told is that you can role-play in a lot of games if you use your imagination enough and have the proper restrictions in place. For example, if I'm going to play Skyrim again and I'm going to be a Redguard, sure, I can wear all the Daedric special artifacts I can and be really beefed up, but if I want to stay true to my role-playing, then I should restrict myself, not wear that armor, and continue to wear the armor that a Redguard would wear. But of course, it's not down to simply the gear, it's also the choices you make that reflect the beliefs of the character you're trying to be. If I'm doing a Redguard playthrough, then probably I'd want my character to reflect the beliefs and values that those people hold. For example, and this is a really random one, I remember when I did a playthrough for the first time ever with Divinity Original Sin, I made a female character, which was Harley Quinn, and I made a male character, which was Good Big B Wolf. Yes, the most random ragtag combo of people, but it allowed me to follow a psychotic killer route and also the good guy cop route. And having them work together and interact made for a really interesting playthrough because I stuck to the beliefs of those respective character templates. So a lot of that is up to the player itself, thus leaving the part in the developer's hands of providing the tools and options for the player to have that replay value. So yes, you can start up a bunch of playthroughs in Skyrim and play as and whatever way you want. But on Bethesda's end of things, they should create all those different types of unique dialogue choices for when you pick a certain race. They should create the quests with multiple outcomes. I also think that Bethesda Game Studios would highly benefit from a similar origin story to Dragon Age Origins. That was one of the best parts of that game, was really getting in touch with your roots of your character and experiencing the beginning of not only the grand story, but your personal story. I like the suggestion Metal Punks makes, but here's the thing is that when there's too many permutations to a situation, that takes up a bulk of the focus in development, and then it'll lead to much less in the game as a whole. Because as you suggested here, based off your fame, based off how you even approach the town, whether you've even been there before, there's so many permutations to the world that it does make it more dynamic ultimately. But also, we have to keep in mind that when the QA is testing this, that takes away from a lot of what else the developers can do in the game. Not out of laziness, but you want to make sure that aspect works in every single way, shape, and fashion. Make sure it's not bugged, and if you have that many quests with that many types of options, as great as it sounds, that presents that many extra problems that can show up. So that's why often you'll hear me suggest in a quest, provide branching paths, like each choice you make has a splitting path and a splitting path. That way there is that choice and consequence, but not at the sacrifice of adding more quests, because that's when I feel a game's at its best, when it has the quality and quantity. Usually in games that are middle of the line, you'll see a sacrifice on one side or the other. You'll see a ton of content, but it's kind of mediocre, or you'll see really high quality stuff, which I think we all value more, but it won't be as much and you'll want more of it. So then we need those developers that have the money, have the manpower to toe that line and create big games with vast amount of content that also has that high amount of quality. And I can feel the Witcher 3 comments pouring in as I say that. Anyway, that'll wrap up this video on replay value. Overall, it's up to the developers to invest the money to try and change the scene to get players to help finish those games. But also the difference is that video games are big investments. We have to keep that in mind because it's not like a movie. I could sit down and in the same day I spend playing a video game, I could watch 3 to 4 movies. So I feel like that's part of the reason why a lot of people don't finish games. But if you're out there and you haven't finished the game, oh man, go fucking finish it, please. It saved me so much sanity, man. You spent money on it. Go beat it. Anyway, that'll do it for me here. I hope you guys enjoyed this week's Elder Scrolls 6 wishlist video, and do leave your comments down below to help dictate where the next episode shall go. Other than that, follow me on Twitter, like me on Facebook, the links are in the description down below. Do consider supporting my Patreon. It helps fuel all the content we create here. Other than that, stay sexy, stay active. I love you all. Peace.